Hi guys, welcome to night 10 of 13 nights of Halloween. We're getting so close to the end. Today there will be no books, but instead I'll bring to you 13 teen slashers and I'll be ranking them for your pleasure. I decided it would be really fun to rewatch some of my favorite teen slasher movies, and then I realized I love a lot of them, so I narrowed it down. The teen slasher, as we know it, had its resurgence in the late 1990s. So all the movies I'll be ranking today, all 13 movies, were made between 1996 and 2000, because the 2000s teen slasher is a whole different thing that I adore as well, but I just want to go to the first ones that brought, the genre back to life. So all the movies are from 1996 to the 2000. I have a list down below that I'm linking with all of them in order. You can go in and check for the synopsis. Some of my movies to come might be a little on the longer side, so I'll keep this short and sweet. If you haven't watched the movies, I will let you know which ones I recommend and which ones you can pass. And what I love the most about them. I hope this is enjoyable and it gives you plenty of ideas of teen slashers to watch. The only other criteria I had, other than these being movies from 1996 to 2000, is that I'm only ranking the first one in the series. So if more than one movie in a franchise was released in that period, I'm only ranking the first one. Without much ado, in last place, I have the 2000 movie Cherry Falls, directed by Jeffrey Wright and starring Brittany Murphy. So this is a slasher that basically the baddie kills virgin people in a small town. It is in 13th place and last place for a reason. I gave it half a star. It's horrible. Don't watch it. I love Brittany Murphy, but oh my god, this movie is sufferable. It is part of the resurgence, so it made its way into my list, but if you like it, I'm sorry. As I'm sorry for the 1998 disturbing behavior, I gave it 1.5 stars. It is a movie directed by David Nutter. I don't like putting people down, but Katie Holmes' acting doesn't jive with me. Not even James Marsden could save this one. So we follow these teens in Cradle Bay, and one by one, especially the ones that are problematic, start becoming perfect. So this is a teen retelling of the Stepford Wives, kind of, sort of. So go watch this movie instead. They are amazing. This one, give it a pass. I mentioned because it was released during that time. You see. Now, with those two out of the way, I'm happy to say that every other movie on my list I highly recommend. They are classics for a reason, and I love and adore them, and I rewatch them. I only rewatch those two for you. So in 11th place with 3 stars, I have I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know, unpopular opinion, this is a lot of people's favorites, but not for me. Do I like the killings? Yes. Do I like the story? Yes. The acting? Not so much. And my main beef with this is that Helen should have been the final girl, not Julie. But it is what it is. It's a classic for a reason. I will still rewatch. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar and Jennifer Love Hewitt. But out of all the teen slashers that came out around the time, it is, in my opinion, not the best one. And the sequel is actually better than this. In 10th place, also, with 3 stars, we have Urban Legend by Jamie Blanks. It has Jared Leto, which is a lot of people's favorite. And my favorite is Joshua Jackson is in it. Robert Englund is in it. And Loretta Devine is in it. I love it. I love the concept of killers based of urban legends. It was fresh at the time. It was really enjoyable. I loved it. I watched it all over and over and over and over again. And I am a big Natalie Wood fan. So I was very thrilled to see that her daughter, Natasha Gregson Wagner, was in it. And that scene, her kill, is iconic. I cannot listen to Total Eclipse of My Heart anymore without picturing that scene. If you know, you know. I highly recommend it. It's fast-paced and you should definitely watch it. Sorry, I did say teen slasher, but I mean teen horror movies. Not all of them are slashers. Just to make this clarification out there, even though most of them technically in some way would classify as slashers. In Dead Man's Curve is a 1998 movie directed by Dan Rosen, and it has a lot of good actors, such as Carrie Russell, but Matthew Lillard really takes the cake for this one. It threads the line of thriller, but it basically tells the story of these wicked and immoral college students that try to take advantage of a school policy that says that if your roommate dies or commits suicides, you automatically get a pass. Not only a pass, but a pass with a, you know, the top average 4.0 or whatever system they use. It is very dark. It is funny in a dark way. It is clever. It's interesting. It has a lot of plot and twists. Matthew Lillard acting as a total psycho. I bought it. So I do recommend this one. It's almost like a hidden gem. Not many people have heard of it. I don't hear it talked about a lot. So if you haven't checked it out, I suggest you go check out Dead Man's Curve. Next, in number 8, with 3.5 stars, I have Halloween H2O, 20 Years Later. Directed by Steve Miner and released in 1998. Jamie Lee Curtis, Josh Hartnett. Go watch it. That's all you need to know. But Josh is Jamie's son. We meet Lori again. So Jamie Lee Curtis is playing her iconic part. And she is the headmaster of this private academy. Her son goes to it. And all of a sudden, Michael escapes and is after them. And he goes on a killing spree. Out of all the teen slashery renditions of Halloween that came around that part, I really enjoyed this one as one of the best ones. And again, Jamie Lee Curtis and Josh Hartnett. Also with 3.5 stars, I have a 2000 movie directed by John Fawcett, Ginger Snaps. This is a low-budget movie. It has Catherine Isabel and Emily Perkins. It basically tells the story of two sisters. They're very close. They do everything together. They are kind of the outcast of this school, and then one of them is bitten by the werewolf and it goes through her transformations. It's surprisingly good, and I think it's another one of those hidden gems. I think werewolf movies usually miss the plot, but this one was very, very well done. The screenplay was amazing. I really liked where it went with it. If I could give it a criticism, I felt that it ran way longer than it should. It would have been as effective and more enjoyable if it was a short movie, but I still recommend this. It's a classic and everyone should watch it at least once in their lives. In 6th place of my teen horror movies, I have the 1998 classic directed by Robert Rodriguez, The Faculty. This is a kind of meta-esque retelling of the invasion of the body snatchers, but this is a slasher. As a teen horror movie, it actually hit the spot. The cast was amazing. I liked all of the main characters. It has all of your teen slasher tropes. It was well done for that time. There was a pretty good twist at the end, as well as the visual effects weren't that bad. I mean, they aged well for a 1998 movie. And did I mention Josh Hartnett, Jordana Brewster, Elijah Wood, Salma Hayek, Robert Patrick, Piper Laurie, and B.B. Newworth. Amazing cast. I highly recommend it. It's thoroughly enjoyable. You don't even see time pass when you're watching this. Ooh, we're getting to our top 5. So, with 4.5 stars, in 5th place, I have a 2000 movie. It is the first in a series. It is directed by James Wong and it's called Final Destination. I mean, I loved the concept. That movie was amazing. It's not really scary, but it's everything I want in a teen horror slasher 1990s movie. I kind of like the sequel just as much, if not slightly more, but this is really amazing, like a definitely bingeable and rewatchable movie, as is the whole franchise, even though some of them, well, I might rank them in a future episode, but for today, let's stay with Final Destination. And again, this is my opinion, so what I will let you know is that my top 4 all were given 5 stars by yours truly. So they're all 5-star movies for me. I watch them more than I can count. I lost count a long time ago. I love them. They are comfort movies. I rewatch them over and over and over again. But I had to rank them. I did. So in 4th place, the one that I love slightly less than the other ones is 1999's Idle Hands, directed by Rodman Flender. This is, it's closer to a comedy than a horror, but it's definitely a horror. It's classified as so I'll go with it. It's a teen slasher, and it basically tells the story of Anton's, whose hand is possessed by the devil because he's really lazy. So his hands goes on a killing spree, only is attached to his body. And a possessed hand. It's so funny. It's so witty. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it doesn't hide that it's supposed to be a dark humor movie. So if you went for a good time, watch Idle Hands. If you haven't, that's a chime. The top 3, it pained me to rank them. So in 3rd place, I have the amazing, iconic, I'll rewatch over and over and over again. From 1996, directed by Andrew Fleming, The Craft. I love The Craft. It's, in my opinion, a classic from the 90s. It did so much for its time, and it was fresh and original, and I think it ages pretty well. And now, even though I said The Craft is my 3rd on the list, I definitely could not pick between the first 2. So it's a tied for 1st place, but they are different, and one is kind of a cheat. I'll give you a second. What is your favorite teen horror movie between 1996 and 2000? Comment down below. But tied for 1st place, I'll start with Scream. It's a 1996 meta movie directed by Wes Craven. Who doesn't know CD? Who doesn't know this? It was, like I mentioned, it was funny and meta at the time, and I think it was really genre bending, and it was horrific. It sold itself as a horror, but it wasn't really scary. I mean, at least not for me, because I loved the sense of humor in it, but it gives you everything you want. The kills, the twist, your final girl, pretty likable villains, and the references to all the horror movies. People, Scream is a classic. Please tell me you love it. If you don't, I'll respect you. But I adore it. It has to be definitely my top pick for this list. But I also have another top pick. And the reason why I allow myself to tie them for first place, and hear me out, is because the second one is arguably not a teen horror. But if you consider Urban Legend, for example, they did make to the list, it's in the same classification. They are young adults. They are in college. So it encompasses that. It's not just teen that ends in the 19-year-old. When we're talking about teen horror movies or this subgenre, it's usually people either in high school or in college. And this movie meets that criteria. It's not cute. It is terrifying. After that movie is the sole reason why I stopped sleeping with my windows open when I lived back home, and it was on the ground floor. It took me a very, very long time to be able to sleep without thinking it again. It terrified the bejesus out of me the first time I watched it. So there's no way I would make it fit on this list and tied for the first one. Do you know what movie I'm talking about? I'll give you a hint. It's a 1999 movie. Still not there. It was directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. Still not there. It has pretty much started a whole other set of subgenre. Still not there. That subgenre is found footage. Yes, I am talking about the Blair Witch Project, which is hands down the scariest, actually the only scary, terrifying, horrifying, I can't sleep at night movie in this list, and therefore it had to be in it. And I am calling it teen horror, okay? They are in college, so are the people from Urban Legend. Deal with it. I would not make a list without including that, and I made it fit. But the Blair Witch Project is amazing. So scary, so innovative, so intense. I really enjoyed it. I also consider it a classic, as is Scream. And no wonder they are tied, even though they are basically polar opposites. With the only thing in common is that they are both fantastic. That's what I had. I hope you enjoy me. I recommend to you 13 teen horrors from the late 1990s, and share with you which ones are my favorites. I hope you have watched most of them or interested in. And again, I'll link their trailers as well as my ranked list in the description box. We're getting close. So with only 3 more nights to go, I will see you tomorrow. And until next time, be the hummingbird. Bye.